Bitcoin is setting up right now a massive trap, and you don't want to get caught in that one. I will show you exactly what's going on here and why there is nothing to worry about. Let's go. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in here on this Monday today, a new week, rock that week. We jump directly here into the charts. So we start off with the DXY here on this Monday. The DXY is again moving to the downside and now potentially breaking that bearish pennant that I was lining out here a while ago. Let me just redraw this quickly. Technically, yeah, you can make a rising wedge out that. So as you can see here, we're moving to the downside, and once that rising wedge is breaking, the dollar will keep falling into lower levels. And as mentioned before, the 100-point level is a rejection point right now for the dollar. So as long as we are not breaking that, we will keep going lower. Now, when we're going to the Bitcoin futures chart, to the CME chart, then now we see where CME opened today. So and that was at $94,700 approximately, and we closed on Friday at $97,640. So here is almost a $3,000 gap. So that is a massive gap for Bitcoin. That is a 3-4% gap currently. Yeah, 3.2% I think. So and that is massive. That is getting filled rather sooner than later. But here comes the trap part in a moment. We could come a little bit lower before we go up, and I'm going to show you in a second exactly these levels. So but keep in mind that this CME gap will get filled at some point this week, in my opinion. So there is a juicy trade setup coming our way, and potentially even into higher levels if we can manage to break on the futures chart $97,700. Now when we go into the Bitcoin chart, one level that I'm looking at currently here on this daily chart where I have a line chart currently on, is that we're coming down to the EMA ribbon on the line chart to $92,120 and get a bounce from there, because we just recently flipped here 3 weeks ago, bullish again on the EMA ribbon, and I believe that this is going to hold, and we're just getting here a bullish retest before we get continuation into higher prices. Now when I go to this daily chart here on Bitcoin, where I have the overall structure on, then also here you can see already that the stochastic is slightly turning around. The MACD potentially gets a bounce with the signal line of the trend line, and the stochastic RSI will also then turn around by tomorrow or after tomorrow. But I don't want to rule out that we could come here lower into that green box here, and that is the area from where I would long Bitcoin currently, and touch the 50 moving average here. Again, around $92,000 at $91,840 currently. We are trading, around that price with the 50 moving average. So, but also don't forget, every single day that passes, that 50 goes higher. So tomorrow we could be at $92,100, $200, something in that vicinity. But once we're getting the bounce here and have created that higher low that we are waiting for, then it's time to go higher. Once we break here the $100,000 mark, we're breaking the overall bearish structure, and then come back into an uptrend that will most likely resume into a new all-time high. So now here we have on this daily chart, I also wanted to show you that here a downwards trending parallel channel. So we always come up here to the top, go to the bottom, go to the top. So this time I don't believe that we come all the way down to the bottom. The worst case scenario for me would be again the 50 moving average here, or the middle line here. That is massive support, $85,000. Again, I don't believe that we are going down there, because that is a really steep move to the downside. But 200 moving average around $90,000, that is something that I would be watching. Let me actually check. I think this is the other way around. Just want to make sure here. Yeah, 200 moving average. Yeah, 200 moving average is here at around $90,600 currently. So worst case scenario, guys, in that move to the downside, $92,000 to $90,000, $90,600. And then continuation to the upside. Again, the $90,000 case is unlikely in my opinion, but 92 is in the cards, so, and we need to be aware of that. So, and another reason for that confluence is that we have a Fibonacci level around these numbers. Here on the MDX scalp gradients, as you can see here with the Fibonacci tool, the 0.786 is in alignment roughly with $91,870. I mentioned just $91,840, so there is a confluence level around the Fibonacci numbers, and that could act as a magnet to come down here one time to create a deviation, then come back up here, form potentially an inverse head and shoulders, with here being the right shoulder, now forming the head, so, and then here somewhere forming the other side of the shoulder, and then continue here into the psychological resistance. And this move is coming to an end pretty soon, even though, like I said, we could come down to like $92,000. And why do I believe that this move is soon over? Because we have here already on the reactor indicator reversals indication here with these two dot plots. This is usually a sign that this downwards move here is running out of steam and coming to an end. So in the best case scenario, we come back down to our overall entry at $92,780. If you missed the overall trading setup, then this is where you can get back in. I warned you guys when we started this trade that you should get here along the way out of this trade and take some profit. I said here around $95,700, then I said here 96 and 97,600. You should take some profit here around the golden ratio. So I hope you did that, because then you can go and compound that and just write the same trade again to the upside when we're getting here to the original entry of $92,862. My ZoomX trade is still running here, currently in a loss. Again, I don't really care because I know where we are going, and this is just a trap in my opinion, because we have strong underlying support. I can also mark that out here again. So here, that whole area is support currently, and as long as that area is holding, I'm not really getting concerned about my position. And again, my liquidation price is at $84,700. If we break that level, I would just buy more on the next major support, which is just below, after that impulse move, which will be all the way down here if we are actually moving that low, so there I would place, just in case, some orders. I'm again betting not on that. I think it's way too steep to get into these levels, but just if there is the unexpectedly case that it's going to happen, I want to have some orders down there. Now, if you want to trade on ZoomX, guys, with me together, and now you would technically get a slightly better entry for the same trade, then go into the description and the pin coin below. You can still get here the lucky draw every single day. You can take part in a lucky draw to win here something: one Trump coin, $100, $100, 1,000 ship, 10 WLF, 1,000 paper, 1 Doge. But the really juicy part is the 3-day Formula 1 VIP ticket to Monaco. And the paddock pass, and also here the Formula 1 team garage tour, also really nice to do that. So the only thing that you need to do is sign up with the link in the pin comment below and in the description below. And then the more you trade, the more tickets you will get to take part in the lucky draw. I think when you sign up, you get immediately 1 or 2 tickets where you can try your luck, and you definitely win something, guys. It's impossible to not get anything, so you only need to spin that wheel here. And like I said, best case scenario, you get here one of these top prices, which are worth multiple 5 figures, so just the paddock pass alone, as I mentioned yesterday, $10,000 to $20,000, and you can potentially even resell that if you want. So actually the paddock pass, you can resell the paddock pass if you really want to. So make use of that. So when we're going now into the liquidation levels, where's my liquidation level? Okay, for today, it's not there. That's fine. So then we work just with the liquidation heat map. So on the liquidation heat map here, again, confluence around $93,000. There is the hottest concentrated liquidity area right now to the downside that we could potentially tap here. I just want to refresh that to make sure that we did not already actually tap into this. No, we did not. So that, in my opinion, will definitely get tapped, just to grab the liquidity there, and from there we need to see if the bulls step in and push it back up, because we have also here highly concentrated liquidity at 98,000 and basically $99,000 to the upside. So a major short squeeze will be initiated once we break $95,700. Again, that is also a key level, which should get us here $1,000 higher to basically keep moving to the upside based on these liquidity layers. So to the downside, if we lose 93,100, then get ready that we go down all the way to your 92,100. And below there, you can see there's not much, hence why I believe that we are not actually going lower than $92,000. Here on the Bitcoin dominance, we see finally a red candle. I hope that will be a topping candle. We will know by tomorrow. So if this doji candle can stay like that and tomorrow is another downwards candle, then that is a topping formation, a candlestick topping formation, and that should lead to continuation then to the downside and to the final break of this rising wedge pattern that we are so much anticipating. So once that is happening, you will see altcoins exploding, and also the total free market cap will then finally get its leg to the upside. As you can see, we are forming here an inverse head and shoulders currently. And when I go and measure that, because I did not do that the other days, so you see that brings us already to like a trillion, 0.01, $1.01 trillion in total market cap. So that is huge. That is over a 25%. That is a 20% rise, 24% rise in total market cap. So, and that has a major influence, of course, on other coins out there. So, and if you want to trade them, guys, you get still a free airdrop position. You have $500 airdrop position on Bybit, where I trade all my altcoins. If you sign up with the link here in the pinned comment and in the description below, this is still valid for 32 days, and you should definitely take advantage of that. On the other hand, you also still get a Bybit card if you're eligible in your country to get one. I pay everything with that Bybit card, literally everything. My restaurants, my flights, my, stuff for my girlfriend, everything. So you should out what they have, plus the $30,000 in bonuses that are available there with the with the link in the pinned comment below and in the description. When we look at Ethereum is still trading in that symmetrical triangle, which is absolutely fine. We are fighting with the point of control here. On the VPVR currently. As long as we can stay above that, we should get a nice bounce here in the direction of $1,920. On the 12-hourly chart, the stochastic is already bottoming out. The RSI is going sideways because we're trading around resistance, and that the MACD is currently looking a little bit bearish is not really concerning to me, because once Bitcoin is turning around, by tomorrow, after tomorrow, during the FOMC meeting, don't forget on Wednesday we have FOMC and potentially a rate cut, or at least some announcements of a June rate cut that could move the markets. I would expect, if we get anything positive out of that FOMC meeting, that Ethereum and Bitcoin is going to break out here to the upside. So you have here both trade setups. I'm just going to click on them here again. So if for whatever reason we come back down here to $1,700, take the trade from there. If we are going higher and we get above $1,840, you take the trade from there. You just wait for at least a 1 hourly candle above that level here to enter this trade setup. Now Solana is holding up actually quite well. I had a small scalp yesterday on Solana that went really, really well for me, and I got lucky because I got out here in that candle. In that candle or the following candle? I think I got out here in that candle yesterday. No, that was for earlier. So here, Sunday, here in that red candle. Yeah, that was the candle. Here in this candle, I got out of that. A quick scalp that I made that lasted 2 hours, potentially, something like that. So, but overall, we are still here in that broadening falling wedge pattern. We have a bearish crossover on the stochastic RSI on the 4-hourly chart, and the RSI is going sideways again because we are trading around here, that one. So, and the MACD is also looking bearish, but if we go into the higher time frames, things look much, much better here. So here again, the EMA ribbon just flipped bullish again. We are forming here this falling wedge pattern, and at the same time, that falling wedge pattern is the handle of an overall cup and handle pattern with a target of $200 roughly. So would I wait that we hit that target here if I want a short-term trade? No. But what we could expect here in the next 10 to 14 days potentially, that we come up to the 200 moving average, while the 50 is also coming up here. And once we're getting that golden cross there, so first of all, when we come up here before we get the golden cross, I would take profit here because most likely price will get rejected back to the downside. And then I would then re-enter at whatever support we find. Maybe support will be then here around $152, and then trade the bounce with the golden cross coming up, and then trade this past $200. So that would be my strategy here for Solana, because the stochastic is bottoming out, the RSI is slightly turning around, the MACD is not super bearish, and we are still above the 50 moving average and above the EMA ribbon. So there is some bullishness still left in Solana. And I think in the next couple of days, this is going to turn around and we're going to see a break of $150. The next one is Ondo on the 12-hourly chart. So we had 2 attempts to break out of that falling wedge pattern, which were unsuccessful, but the 2 candles currently look like a tweezer bottom. Here in this case, a local bottom indication. We should potentially adjust our entry here slightly based on that. And I would say now we enter from 87.7 cents, but keep the stop loss tight. So now we're looking at 26.7% of a profit against a 4.25% stop loss. Absolutely fine. So why do I do that? Because we can now squeeze a little bit more profit out of this trade, because the MACD is about to turn around here. Look here how long we are already flatlining on the stochastic. This cannot last much longer, and we need to get a pop here to the upside. So when you look here in the past, when we were going sideways here, this was also a short period of time before you got here a dead cat bounce to the upside. So and that is the kind of thing that I want to take with me. Even if it would be a dead cat bounce, and lock in some profit, most likely halfway into the trade, take something off the table, and then add again when we come back to the original entry, and then take the full swing to the upside. Then with render is acting a little bit strange. So to be completely transparent, I closed my render trade to this morning when we came up here the second time before we went down. So that's when I closed it. So that was around my entry level. So I actually made money on that, because I went out in stages on that trade. So I made some money first, and then now I went out with the last bit that I had on break even. But overall, I made some money on that render trade that I had. And I'm waiting now to see when we're getting a bounce here, because on a 4-hourly chart, it looks like that we're coming potentially back down into that level here, and somewhere in here find support to get another move to the upside. So that's what I'm looking for currently, because I think the higher time frames, yeah, also here the daily is about to bottom out, and there could be a bounce coming tomorrow or after tomorrow. Also 12-hourly is about to turn around here, give us a buy signal. So there is not much time left to get here into a position, but for today, I believe we could come a little bit lower. And if I would target something, maybe another % or 2 to the downside to enter this. But if you want to play it safe, you still use the overall trade setup that we had here from $4.32 above the golden ratio into the $4.91 level. And so the next one that I'm looking at is Link. So Link also on the daily looks ready to turn around here, like most of these altcoins. On the 4-hourly chart, there is still some room to go to the downside for another 4 hours technically. So we could touch here $13.35, $13.40, something like that. So I would enter from there trade, because I also believe that we're not going much lower. That's roughly 2% more to the downside. And we will stay in this downward sloping channel. I think if we come down here in this current 4-hourly candle, we're going to get a nice wick back up into that channel and then start breaking out of it to the upside into $15.24, which is again roughly a 13.7% profit here on that trade with a 2% stop loss. Again, the risk to reward is definitely amazing here, 1 to 6.78. You just need to be a little bit more patient. So if you want to play it safe, super safe, then just wait that we get a green candle within that downward sloping channel here. And here you see the current 4-hourly candle just turned green, but we need here a little bit more upwards movement, so to confirm that. So at least to $13.72 and actually hold that level here, because that was past support, now resistance. So we need to stay above that to get confirmation. And guys, that's it for today's episode already. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I see you with more money tomorrow.